Morning, my name's Mick Price, I'm a consultant for DNA Baits, and you're joining us here today on part 4 of our winter day ticket series where we're travelling around some open access waters. And we're here again a week later in the Nene Valley after it was flooded at Stanwick Lakes Fisheries. You know, the first time I've ever been to this day ticket water. It is a really busy day ticket water. As you can see behind me, there's a few lads just turning up now. It's Friday morning and it looks like it's going to be a really busy weekend ahead. The forecast is not looking really good. It's been sort of -1s overnight. There's a lot of ice around. But it's like I say, it beat sort of a week and a half ago when we were down. There was icebergs floating about. The lakes just looked absolutely terrible. But it looks a lot better now for this session ahead. So like I say, the flooding a week ago was absolutely horrendous. There was just no way we could have fished. We even had a little look at another venue up the road, but that was just as bad. So before the lads got down, I've been here now about half an hour, got my bucket out of the car, and I've went round, dropped it in a swim. Let's have a walk down and see where I've selected to fish for the next 24 hours. This is the first swim as you come round out of the car park. On there known as Peg 15. You see, I've never been to the venue before, but you know, with the prevailing wind coming down here, it is an obvious choice. I've got some lovely reeds off to my left, nice snaggy areas to the right, and we've got those sort of fake islands out. You can hear the road noise behind me. It is right to the side, you know, the Stanwick complex is right to the side of that A45. So, you know, it makes me think that a lot of people do tend to fish down the other end where it's a little bit quieter. Right, so let's have a little look, 3 or 4 pegs up, and see how it's looking. Oh yeah, this looks a nice little area. Looks nice in here. Oh, hang on a minute, 13. Superstitious, not a chance. Yeah, this looks like a nice little swim a little bit further on the corner. Got those couple of false islands out there just attached by ropes. When I was in that swim there, it looks like there's a little bit of fizzing down in between the other 2 islands, and like you say, I don't know the lake, but there's a good head of fish in here, so you can't ignore it. So let's go and have a little stand down, a couple of pegs down, and have a little investigation of those fizzes, see what it is. Oh yeah, this looks like the one. Looks really, really nice in here. Like you say, there's definitely a few fish. It's got to be fish that's fizzing out there. A couple down this margin, out in open water. You know, there's a bit of cat ice in the margins, and you can't take that in that there is a few fish bubbling about, but there certainly is. It looks really, really good in here. I like those sunken islands out there, those fake islands, sorry. You know, I'm just fan 3 rods out in that middle. Yeah, this is definitely my choice for today, you know, targeting that middle area, especially in the winter months. I just tend to seem to put a few fish on the bank. Like you say, I don't know the lake at all, but those fish that are bubbling up, it's got to be carp. There's a big head of fish in here, and I'm feeling really, really confident. Even though it's sort of -1, 0 degrees, I'm feeling good. Let's get the gear and let's have it. So here we are then in the chosen swim. The sun's absolutely beating down behind me. I can feel a little bit of warmth coming through those trees, which is just perfect and ideal. You know, and it's that special time of year now. You know, you can feel spring in the air. You know, the fish are starting to become a little bit more active. And even though it's really cold, the temperatures, I have seen a few fish fizzing up this morning, which has made me feel really, really confident. And what I tend to do this time of year is to start putting a little bit of bait in on my chosen lake. Bottom bait. Maybe there's a few spombs or chops over there and a little bit of stick mix and the S7 pellet, and see if we can drag some of those fish in. As I'm going to give the new raisbees, I'm going to put them through the paces. I'm going to try a little 10mm pot up on one and a little wafter on the other. You know, these are massive head of fish in this lake, and I'm sure that 1 or 2 are going to be on the feed. So let's get the rods out. I know a minute ago I said I was going to put S7 out there and a couple of raisbees, but I've just had a little walk down the bank and I'm sure I've just seen a fish in the upper layers there just disturbing the surface. So I've a bit of a switch of tactic. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a zig out on that left-hand rod, you know, set it around about 3 to 4 foot, sort of mid-water, and see if that can get us a quick bite. You know, you've got to be, that's what you've got to do this time of year. You know, you've got to be not scared to just sit on one thing, try little different things. You know, in the winter, the biggest edge you've ever got is your eyes. Always watch the water, don't take your eyes off it for 1 minute, and you know, that can definitely get you an extra bite. just to recap then, I'm going to go on the left-hand rod on a little zig on a trimmed down candy stick. You know, I'm going with yellow because the water's really murky at the moment due to the floods last week. So I'm going to get that out there, you know, something nice and bright in your face, see if I can aggravate a bite. Middle rod, I'm going to go with the S7 bottom bait with a little bag of S7 pellets and a bit of stick mix in there. Right hand rod, I'm going to go with one of the new raspberry wafters from DNA. Yeah, so the raspberries I've been catching a few over the last couple of months. I haven't used them yet, you know, as you know, I tend to stick with me sort of little pinks and my whites. So I'm going to give these new raspberries a go and see what happens. You know, I feel like I'm covering all options at the moment, you know, with a zig, a bottom bait and a little fluoro there. So I'm doing everything I possibly can. The only thing I might do differently later, or I'm probably going to do if I don't get a bite, is maybe put a few spods out there, a bit of pellet, a bit of chop boilie, and see if I can get a few fish in the swim. So it's looking good. So just a quick look at the rig then, the zig I'm going to put out. It's just a little trimmed down yellow candy stick, you know, scaled down tactics, a really small hook size 12 hook and light 8-pound double strength hook link. There's no snags out there, so I've got nothing to worry about apart from those islands, but I'm nowhere near them. So let's get this out on the mark and see how it goes. Right then, new venue, here we go. You know, in the last 30 seconds it's starting to drizzle a little bit, the flipping clouds are all moving in, but I'm going to stick with a plan, get this zig on the mark. Nice. I don't know what it is, even though the weather is not in our favour, I just feel confident of a bite. I don't know why. Maybe it's still just because it's a lot better than it has been, but... Well, so much for this nice weather, lasted 2 minutes, so looks like we're back to normal now, so that's good. Let's get the other two rods out, see how we get on. Right, let's get this S7 rod out then. A little bit of a twist this time. I suppose some of you might have heard of the new Evo range, so these are a little quick glimpse into one of the little parts that's going to be coming out, which is the hook baits there. I can't go too much into it at the moment because it is still on test. You know, Jace is working his magic and Mark Owens is helping him out there, one of the other consultants, so just a quick little glimpse there. You know, you can see there they're quite heavily glugged. There's a few of the little tricks in there as well. So let's give those a try. It's the first time I've used it, so I'm quite excited about this rod. So a little bag on there. Let's just hook this on. Just full of nice little crumb down S7 bottom baits, just chopped up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scatter a few baits over the top of it. So I've got a feeling that there's going to be 1 or 2 fish on the munch today, and certainly in it tonight. Right, that's rod number 2 in position. You know, I'm quite excited with the new hook baits that Jace has sent us through. They are going to be playing a big part in my spring approach and my summer approach over the next few months, so we'll give them a whirl on this session and we'll see how we get on. Right, this is the new raspberry wafters that people are going on about at the moment, and you know, these are catching a lot of fish. I get quite a lot of stick for using the pinks, but at the end of the day I catch a lot of fish in them, so you know, I'm fishing for 1 bite at a time. I'm going to go with something I'm confident in, but Jace keeps telling me give the raspberries a go, give the raspberries a go. So here we go then, this one's for you, Jace. Let's get this rod out in the raspberry and see if we can bag a fish. Yeah, up there, we're away. Well, left-hand rod just absolutely ripped off there. Little trimmed down candy stick that is on the zig. You know, I decided to put that zig out earlier on. The sun was quite high in the sky. A lot of warmth in it. Feel the biggest fish. So it just goes to show with them zigs. Even in the depth of winter, can't ignore them. Little comment. So I don't know the lake at all. First time I've ever been, but I've never been to a lake where they don't work. The biggest one in the lake is sort of 32, 33 pound. That's it, first one in the net, early doors, so we've still got a full day to go, the night ahead of us. So I'm feeling good for a couple of fish. Well, nice little common carp, one of the smaller ones in the lake. You know, they do go to sort of 30 pound in here, so we've got a full day ahead of us. I'm feeling really confident for another bite. Like I say, I did switch over to them zigs. The sun was out and I was seeing a few disturbances and a few bits moving on the surface. The water is quite murky at the moment. That's what made me switch over to the colour of yellow. You know, just see if I can pick one or two fish up. You know, I'm really relieved, although it is small. It means I haven't blanked on the winter series yet, so that's good. Whoop. So let's slip this little common back, see if we can get another one. Water's absolutely freezing. She goes. First blood. Let's get the rod back out. So, like I said earlier, I did change over to them zigs, but the sun was beaming. I don't know if you can see behind me now, but it's gone absolutely black. But I am going to still put this zig back out there and give it another, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours and just see if I can pick another fish up. Like I say, it doesn't have to be red hot, it doesn't have to be really, really warm to catch on zigs, and that's the mistake that a lot of people make. So don't be scared to give them a go, even when the conditions are like they are now, really cold and it's sort of 3 degrees at its top temperature. But it still looks really good for a bite, so let's get it back out on the money, see if we can put another one on the bank. I was put out straight into the open water, in between the two islands. Same spot again. Perfect. Right, I've got that spod rod clipped up on the mark. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just run through what I'm going to be putting out there. The weather's took a real turn for the worse this morning. It was a beautiful sunny morning. It felt really, really warm. Now you can see there's a little bit of light drizzle starting to come down. It's threatening to rain. So I'll just run through this now. Like I said, I'm not going to go mad and start putting a load of bait in, but I've got a feeling there's going to be 1 or 2 fish out in the area going to be, you know, picking a few baits up, and there's quite a lot of fish in the lake, so, you know, a few spods, certainly I don't think it's going to do any damage. I'm using the S7, my favourite bait from D&A. It's caught me loads of fish. Right, yeah, I've got one of Jace's special look baits out there in the new Evo range, but I'm just going to spod the standard S7 bottom baits out there over the top. So let's get a few of these chopped up. Alright, so just a little bit of chopped oily in there. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the S7 pellet in there. So I've got all kinds of things going on, different releases, different smells. A bit of that in there. Again, this is the S7 pellet, just to match the boilie. Got a good mix round. Mix up. I've then got a bit of the old Secret 7, the stick mix there, just to cloud up the water. Like I say, there's quite a few fish in this lake, so nice big attractive cloud out there, certainly going to bring a few fish in. So let's get a bit of that in. Mix. Alright, so that's nice and mixed up there. Now what I'm going to do now is just add some of the S7 food dip in there, just to boost the attraction. You know, I use this in my hook baits quite a lot, also in my spod mixes. Get that mixed round. Last bit of glug in there. There we go. It's looking nice now. Let's get that out over that hook bait. See if that buys a bite. Right, then let's get a few spoms out there, fishing out towards those islands. Like I say, when you fill this spom, if you've never used one before, make sure you're not filling up the catch at the front, otherwise the spom won't shut correctly. All I'm doing is, you know, just trying to create just an area of attraction, really. You know, I don't want loads of bait out there. Certainly if the fish are having it and it starts working, and I'll put some more in. Let's get another one out there, a mark. See, all I'm trying to do is just create like that area, just area of attraction. There's not much in the way of food out there, just sort of smell. one of those new little Evo hook baits over the top. Giving them a whirl on this session. I'm sure that could buys a bite. So today's absolutely flown by. You know, we sort of missed the afternoon out of filming because it was absolutely pouring down with rain. You know, the forecasters have got the predictions completely wrong. They said it was going to be really sunny and warm, but it just hasn't been at all. You know, tonight it's going to be sort of -1, -2. It's going to be really, really cold tonight. It's freezing now. I'm already in the sleeping bag. It's only sort of 8:30, 8:45, but I'm absolutely freezing. I can't drink any more tea. But, you know, I'm feeling confident. We did manage a fish today. And the forecast, if they do get right tomorrow, is going to be a lot better. 7, 8 degrees, plenty of sunshine. So hopefully we're going to pick 1 or 2 fish up. So let's get our head down and hopefully get a good night's kip. Well, good morning. It's the morning after last night. Absolutely nothing. No liners now, no action at all. You know, it was really, really quiet, really cold and all. I think it got down to about 0, 1 degree, something like that. So a little bit milder than they said it was going to be, but still really, really cold. This morning there's quite a few anglers on the venue now. Quite a few more people turned up. I didn't realise how many people were on actually. There's sort of around about 10 of us on now. It's only sort of 5.5 acres of lake. So it's really, really busy. You know, one lad's gone opposite me there. He's just cast out. He's gone all over all 3 of my rods, which, you know, isn't ideal, but, you know, that's just the challenge of day ticket fishing. You know, that's the kind of thing that you've got to put up with sometimes, but, you know, he probably doesn't know his water. It's the first time he's probably been down. So it's just one of them really, you just got to get on with it and do the best you can. Yeah, up there, we're away. Right, there we go. Nice little common there, not the biggest fish in the land, but certainly welcome in these conditions. As you can see, the snow's absolutely piling down now. Freezing cold, sort of 2, 3 degrees. You know, there's 10 other anglers on there last night and through today, and these have been the only 2 bites, so I can't moan with that. Got a good feeling we're going to get another bite. Come on. You know, it just goes to show those fish are definitely up in the water, even though it's absolutely freezing. I haven't had a sniff whatsoever on those bottom baits. And that's 2 bites now on the zig. So let's get that rod back out on the money. And like I say, I'm feeling good for another bite. You've got absolutely no idea how cold it is. I'm absolutely freezing cold here. You know, I just had that fish back. I can't even feel my fingers. I want to get the rod back out in the money, but I'm going to have to let my hands thaw out first. So I think I'll stick the kettle on and warm up for 5 minutes. Just trimming my little Raisby zig down now, my Raisby candy stick ready to go out on that zig. You know, there's a few fish about, definitely. I'm confident we'll bite again this afternoon. Yeah, up there, we're away. Well, there we are, they're starting to get a little bit bigger. No way we could have filmed this one though, it was absolutely pouring down with rain there during the fight. The rod just absolutely ripped off there on the little Raisby trimmed down zig. Cracking, over the moon with that one. Let's slip her back. Well, looks like the weather's easing for the first time in this session. You know, that rain's starting to hold off a little bit and the snow. But I tell you what, that water is absolutely ice. I mean, you see when we first come down there was ice in the margins. If that sky clears later on, there's a good chance it could freeze over tonight. But let's get the rods back out on the money. Yeah, up there, we're away. Left hand rod again. This time it's on a little trimmed down PB candy stick. And the yellow again. So a little mirror this time. Nice. Candy stick hanging out. Yes. It's in there. Fish number 4. Cracking day. Over the moon with that one. Well, there we are, fish number 4. You can see now the rain's absolutely piling down behind us. We've got JB hid away there in the bivvy to keep the camera dry. You know, Mike Maidenly, you were the one that suggested this venue, and I must say we were absolutely swearing about you yesterday. But you know, it's turned out to be a cracking session. Lovely little scaly mirror here in my hands. You know, you just can't beat it in conditions like this. So thanks for telling us to come here, Mike. There's certainly a lake I'll be coming back to. And you never know, we've got a few hours yet and we might just bag another one. She goes. Cracking. What a cracking day. Come on. Right, it's reached that stage now. We've got a little bit of a lull in the weather. And what we're going to do is we're going to answer those questions you've been firing at us again on the DNA Baits Facebook page. Some cracking questions and plenty of them this time, so that's really, really good. But this time though, a couple of years I've asked a few questions for our cameraman himself, JB. So I'm going to fetch him down, he can answer a couple, and then I can answer a couple.
Well, hi guys. Well, Mick, first, before we do a couple of questions, I've got to say these have been the most challenging conditions of our winter series. It's been a nightmare. We've had flipping driving rain, we've had sleet, we've had snow, but you've still managed to bag a couple as well.
Yeah, it's been hard, John. It's like definitely the most challenging session we've had so far, but it has been enjoyable. Yeah. And this is what winter's about. All at the end of the day, it's what it's about.
And the thing I would say to the guys watching at home, Mick, I mean, I take my hat off to you. I feel myself, I've learnt so much from you this winter. I mean, it's your tenacity and your unwillingness to give in the face of adversity and everything. I mean, we've been on plenty of lakes now where nobody else has actually caught, but you're just like a little terrier, like a beaver, badgering away and smashing all these different changes. You really do it. It's just what you see at home is what it's like. I mean, we can't show everything because obviously, like I say, we had these terrible conditions for filming in. But mate, like I said, take my hat off to you.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
Right, okay, let's do the questions. These have been randomly drawn out the hat again, but I'm just going to refresh myself from Facebook. My first question was from a chap called Andrew Whitehead. And what Andrew's actually asked me is, here's one for JB. Would you still look to put a bait tight to snags or difficult to get to areas, even if you don't know that much about the water? All I would say about that is, first and foremost, I'm a hunter. I see some snags, overhanging tree, anything like that, and I'm looking at it. But before that, first and foremost, I'm a hunter. Fish safety is paramount, comes before everything. So what I tend to do, I talk to the local guys. Oh, what's it like around them snags? Do you know what I mean? Do they go in there? Can you ever get them out? Have a little plumb around and see what it's like. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if you've got open water, you've got snags, especially in the spring and times like that, the fish just tend to really hold up, don't they, in them snags?
Definitely.
You know, I remember the snags on the snake pit. You could visibly look down and watch the fish in the snags, but it was always a moral dilemma. How far into the snags do you go and how far out of the snags do you go? I've got to say to myself, I was never that comfortable to go too far in. And if I did, I would always sit on my rod, so I knew they'd never barrel in, so it's never going to be a problem. So thanks for that, Andrew. That's a great question, and one that we should morally think about as well. The other question I've got is from David Stacks Williams. What's the best thing you've ever filmed? Well, I'd like to say porn or something, but obviously I don't do that. It's all nature and wildlife stuff now. But last year, I was on the big pit, 425 acres. I was sat in my bivvy and I just had the camera set up. Sadly, it wasn't in full broadcast HD, what we've got now, but a kingfisher landed on a dead branch about 20 feet away. And I was in awe. I'd just got it and it was on the camera and I thought, this is as good as it's ever got. And then what actually happened, it leant forward and it swept its wings back and it went into the water, bang, hit a fish. And this point, I thought I was going to die with excitement, right? It was just unbelievable. But it went back up to the same branch it was sat on and it banged the fish against a tree and ate the fish. And for me, you know, you can film all your life, you know, and never get them sort of things. So for me, it was the greatest thing I've ever filmed. And of course, some of the fish that you've caught.
Oh, nice one, yeah.
But anyway, right, let's go on to Mick's questions. Right, okay then, Mick. So here's your first question. And like we always keep saying, it is randomly out the hat. There's so many good questions, aren't there?
Yeah,
you know?
there's some crackers.
So they are pulled out randomly.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark Blake. What do you find and what have you found to be your biggest challenge so far making the winter series? Is it bait, location, motivation, or is it something else?
Well, apart from you, so far, I would certainly say, John, it's got to be the camera for me, and the biggest challenge. You know, like I say, coming fishing normally, I don't have a camera following me about, and it's the first time I've ever done any filming work. You know, over this winter series.
Done quite good, mate, for your first time.
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable, and you know, I've learnt a lot with it. Like you say, just the pressure of the camera being down and wanting to put a fish on the bank, and you know the conditions we've had and all the rest of it. Like you say, normally you just put your rods out and you can chill out, sit there drinking tea all day. But you know what it's like. You guys don't see a lot of it. What we're like on the bank. You know?
It's just a nightmare, isn't it? Sometimes trying to bag something for the cameras. But I mean, the obviously Mike Madley chose this lake for us.
Yeah.
He wrote into the DNA website, and we also asked the guys on Facebook. But I mean, is this somewhere you'd come and fish in the winter? I mean, I know you fish the big pits in the summer, don't you? For big girls and stuff.
If this lake was a little bit closer home, I would definitely fish it. It's somewhere. It's the type of water I enjoy to fish this time of year. You know. Just going out there, getting a few bites, it's just what it's all about for me. You know, -1s, 2, 3s, wherever you like. I just like to be out with a good chance of a bite. Like you say, summer months, spring months, I do like my big fish fishing. But you know, the lake I've been fishing this year, it's sort of, or last year should I say, there's not many fish in it, and it's, you know, quite a big water, and it's rock hard that time of year, John. So I don't want to be sitting there, you know, with I want a realistic chance of a bite, mate.
And
to be
a bite.
honest. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you are a married man, aren't you? You know, with a young daughter and one on the way, with a wife to keep happy.
Yeah.
You know, and you just got to get out sometimes, ain't you? And do your bit of fishing, and you know,
limited time. I want to go out and get 1 or 2 fish.
Yeah. And you're not a full timer, are you?
No, I'm not.
Good man. Okay then, so the next question is from Paul Wilkinson. In fact, this is a question for me and you. I don't want to steal your thunder today answering the questions, but what's yours and John's thoughts on moon phases and air pressure? Does it really make a difference to people's angling? Paul Wilkinson, fantastic question.
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, regards to the moon phases, it definitely makes a difference for me, John. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would go off a sort of, you know, the lake I was fishing at Bluebell, a lot of you will be familiar with it, when I was after Benson, Kingfisher. You know, that particular fish used to just always come out on a full moon, all the time, you know. And it's just across the board, you know. A lot of my friends who were fishing on other big lakes and, you know, big fish fishing, they'd all tell you the same thing. Yeah. Oh, it's a so-and-so moon, it's a whatever moon.
Waxing,
it's
gibbous, and
Oh, we go, it's Benson moon, it's amphibian moon.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
They just love those moons, mate, and it definitely makes a difference. It's not a coincidence that they get caught on the same moon phase all the time.
Of course it is.
And if you can work that one out and, you know, look through previous captures and make a log down, and when that target fish comes out, it can certainly help you.
Fishing.
Help your approach.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I do a lot of big pit fishing. I'm on 425 acres at the minute, you know, and a guy that I hold in great respect and high esteem, Little John O'Driscoll, something we've studied a lot, the moons over the years. And John will tell you there's a hatch in every single month of the year. And when do all these hatches occur? On a full moon.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'll be on to John, and it'll be whatever month it'll be, and I'll say, John, I'm fishing on the pit this month. What hatch have we got? And he'll say to me, okay, it's going to be a bottom hatch. I fish on the bottom. It's going to be a mid-layer hatch. Fish mid-layers. It's going to be one on the top. I might even have a zig out on the top in January. And people say, you're mad. But at the end of the day, when them big fish are going round, clearing all the hatch up, if you've got a bait in the right place, and I believe once you start to unlock that, you've got a big chance.
Yeah, it's a massive edge. Massive edge.
And we've always said it, you know, you watch David Attenborough films and you see turtles and stuff, and everything hatches on a full moon and in time with a full moon. I don't think that's any coincidence, because if you think about it, you think, well, why would you want to be hatched on the lightest days? But it's a chain of predation. You know, if you've got a predator watching a hatch, you've also got a predator watching the predator, and a predator watching a predator, until obviously it goes right up the food chain to man. So I do believe that's the reason. I think they take cover on a full moon, even though it's lighter, because they know they've got a better chance of survival. So get the moon bit right, and it's absolutely paramount to big pit, certainly fishing. I'm not so sure about the day ticket stuff for you, really.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, with regards to when I was over at the Bluebell Complex,
Yeah.
which is a really, really busy day, sick of water, there was certain fish what did come out on those
On them
certain
moons.
moon phases, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
Yeah.
And what about the pressure?
Oh, air pressure again. It's another one, mate. It's a massive edge if you can get out on the bank when you know there's a low pressure coming in. I watch for them all the time. I'm pretty obsessed with the pressure, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Like you say, if there's a big low pressure forecast, you're definitely going to have a better chance of a bite. The fish are going to be feeding hard. It'll be on the bottom. You know, I'm not saying you're not going to catch an high pressure, but if you were looking at the chart and you can see the pressure is high. You know, you should be targeting the upper layers or the mid layers and start using zigs. And you can prepare for your session. You know, high pressure, I'm going to be taking my zig gear, I'm going to be taking my floater gear. There's a big low pressure coming in, I'm going to be bringing a lot of bait down with me. I'm going to get the bait in. I know them big girls are going to be having it. So, you know, it's a massive edge, mate, massive edge.
And I know lots of guys that fish fairly regular, even some of the full-timers, they won't go out unless it's a really low pressure front, because they know the fish have got the head down and they're feeding. But I mean, even when I pick my pressure times, I always look at the pressure, because if it's like a mid pressure, something just below 1,000, I'm thinking to myself, maybe mid layers. You know, if it's a lot less than 1,000, I'm thinking on the bottom. If it's over 1,000, I'm thinking somewhere near the top, and I adapt my fishing to that, and it really works, doesn't it?
It's a massive edge, mate. Yeah, once you start thinking that way, you'll certainly put more fish on the bank.
Without a doubt. Brilliant. So they were fantastic questions yet again. If you keep them coming in, we'll give you, we'll tell you where we're going to be fishing next week or the week after. We've got one more show to do for the winter series. So we hope the weather's going to be a little bit kinder, don't we?
Hopefully it won't be frozen.
But like I say, keep the questions coming. They are fantastic. They are drawn out the hat randomly, but brilliant. Right, I'm going to put the kettle on now, Michael.
Good man, it's about time. Well, sadly, that's the end of the session. It's been really, really challenging, this one, the most challenging winter siege we've had so far. We got down yesterday morning to beautiful, sunny, clear skies. You know, even though there was a bit of ice in the margins, it was a lovely day. You know, it soon changed though, and we've had rain, hail, snow, sleet, the lot. It's been really, really hard on both the fishing front and especially on the filming front. Trying to get some footage has been a nightmare. JB's done really well there, filming from underneath the bivvy half the time. You know, we even dragged JB out on the camera there to answer those questions you sent through to us. Again, enjoyed those, going through them all on the DNA Bait Facebook page. Plenty of questions on there, fantastic. We still don't know where we're going for part 5 next week. You know, we're supposed to be out on Wednesday, like I say, but hopefully the weather will be in our favour that time. The forecast isn't too bad at the minute, but I'm just hoping it isn't going to freeze. So until then, I'll see you next time.